Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tuned. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys this $2,000 Honda CRV that I picked up. And if you guys can see, it has an intercooler on it. So yes, this CRV that I bought is turbocharged. And picked it up off Facebook Marketplace. This was a local car around my area that has been for sale for quite a while. And it seemed like the owner didn't really want to get rid of it, or did, I don't really know. But it was kind of a process to be able to actually purchase the vehicle, but I ended up getting the car and it is mine, and now I put it up on the lift to check out and see what I bought. So this is a first gen CRV with the B20, and I'm gonna start on the bottom side and work my way up. So we obviously have a intercooler on it. It is a little bit beat up. I don't know if it, hit something or what, but yeah, hopefully it doesn't leak. But yeah, so intercooler, nothing too crazy. It does have this like tow hook on it that's just like bolted up here. So it has this like strap for a tow hook. Yeah, it looks like an aftermarket grille and headlights there. It does have just like a basic eBay turbo kit on it, which I'll show you guys here in a second. It does appear like it's leaking some exhaust. As you can see, this is pretty sooted up, and I don't know if they're just getting on the wastegate that much where it's blacking up the exhaust pipe, but it does sound like it has an exhaust leak. The tires are also kind of shot. It looks like we got new torque mounts on it. Looks like it's got a chipped up crank pulley right there. Max Peeding rod coilovers, only the finest. Looks like it's got new brake lines. But what is this? That is a very severe brake line angle. I'm definitely gonna have to fix that because that thing is super tight. Holy crap. I'm sure it's not as bad when it's on the ground, but I'm probably gonna take that 10 mil out and try to get this brake line less stressed, because that thing is really stressed down there. It looks like we got a new CV axle on this side, new sway bar links and ball joints. Yeah, and it looks like we're leaking a little bit of trans fluid. I don't think that axle is seated in all the way. I don't know if I can try to shove it in. I might try to smack that in and see if I can get it to go in all the way. It doesn't appear like it's in all the way, and it would make sense if this is all leaking oil, because that's not seated in all the way. So I'm gonna try to clean up some of this oil. Also, there is a little bit of oil over here on the oil pan. So I'm gonna just check the drain plug here. Believe it or not, I've had a lot of cars come in, or I've bought, and the drain plugs are loose. So I'm gonna just check to see if the drain plug is tight on this thing, because that could be another area where the oil is leaking. Yeah, let's see here. Oop, that's a 14 mil. And I did get a little bit out of it already. Yeah, that should fix that leak. So yeah, it was snug, but it wasn't like tight. So let's get all this oil wiped off. I also noticed that the drain line here, they have thread tape on this AN thread. So never tape AN lines, always just seal it on the flare. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to get some of this oil cleaned up here. And I'm gonna try to get that axle to seat in there all the way. But the exhaust looks pretty nice. It looks like maybe a 2.5 inch exhaust. The drive shaft looks good, besides the carrier bearing is shot. So I don't know if I'm just gonna buy a whole drive shaft, because sometimes it's cheaper just to get the entire drive shaft versus replacing the carrier bearing. You could get whole drive shafts for these cars for like $100. So going down the rest of the exhaust, it does have a 1320 muffler on it. So that's kind of cool. It does have a trailer hitch as well. That's pretty rusty. This bolt This bolt up here is not tight, so definitely gonna have to fix that bolt for the trailer hitch. But we do have a brand new tire back here, so that's pretty cool. All these other ones are pretty bald. And it does look like maybe the rear diff is also leaking a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I get this axle in quick, and then we'll set this thing back down on the ground and we'll check out under the hood. All right, so as you guys can see, this thing has couplers everywhere. There's one off the turbo, one here, one here, one here, one here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 couplers on the hot side. 1, 2, 3. I think there's 3 up there or 2 up there, so 10 couplers on this thing total. When I bought it, they said, man, this thing's just really slow. It doesn't really seem like it's turboed. And, well, there's a boost leak on this coupler. So, wide open, you ain't gonna get no boost to the motor with that. So, I'm gonna replace this coupler. I also got the axle to seat all the way in. So, now the axle's all the way in, and I have the oil kind of cleaned up on the transmission and the engine oil pan. Also found a rub point on this thing that's about to burst. So you can see the lower radiator hose there is just kind of sitting on this post, or this transmission mount, torque mount, and it's just rubbing into this hose. So definitely gonna have to you know, zip tie this hose up somewhere, because that's just gonna eventually fail and then spray coolant all over the place. What else? There's the turbo from the underside, liquid cooled. Probably gonna throw that stuff in the garbage, because once we get this thing down on the ground, you'll see exactly how bad the turbo kit looks. All right, so now under the hood, you can tell this car's been sitting for a while. Does have a cast log manifold with a Rev 9 wastegate, with the looks like the wastegate line is just kind of running down to the turbo here, and rubbing on the hot exhaust manifold. So if this were to blow, it's just going to make 1,000,000 pounds of boost and probably explode this B20. So I actually have a wastegate on the way from Amazon that I'm going to replace this one with, because this one also doesn't have a fire ring in it, and it is leaking exhaust out of the dump tube, which inevitably is an exhaust leak before the turbo. This turbo is way too big. It's like a 35R. So that boost leak that I just showed you guys on the coupler, this thing leaking wastegate exhaust out, and this vacuum line here, all pretty big hazards. Also, the oil line's just rubbing on the exhaust as well, the dump tube. These coolant lines are just laying on the downpipe. And this one that one's good actually. So I'm gonna wait for Amazon to get here with my 2-bolt wastegate. I'm not even gonna futz with this vacuum line or anything on this one, just because it is leaking exhaust and this hose has to be rerouted differently with the fitting on this side, or something different. The exhaust looks really nice. The downpipe looks really good. It's got a Skunk 2 Alpha radiator in it. And yeah, here's a couple more couplers. So there's 3 more couplers up top. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this side, 5 on that side. So a total of 11 couplers on this thing. The injectors, I believe, are like grams or something. I don't know exactly, but it is leaking some oil out of the breather onto the fuel rail there. Not too big of a deal. This injector wiring does scare me a little bit. The more I'm digging into this thing, the more I'm like, what the hell did I get myself into? But it does run on all 4 cylinders. It actually runs pretty good. So I'm just gonna act like I didn't see the injector wiring for now. And we're just gonna try to straighten up some of this other stuff. I did check the oil, and there's nothing on the dipstick. So I don't know what the hell I bought. I probably overpaid for this thing. I paid $2 grand for it, but my last CRV that I did, I got like $7 grand for, after I did the turbo kit and I did all the other stuff on it. So I'm hoping if I get this thing running decent, you know, I can make a couple bucks, or I can sell it, or I can keep it and just drive it as a winter beater or ice race it or something like that. But the issues don't stop there. Injector wiring, oil's leaking out of there. There's no oil on the stick. It does have a brand new alternator, so that's kind of cool. The power steering was making a little bit of noise, but it is full, so I don't know what's up with that. Maybe the belt's just loose. Yeah, the power steering belt's a little loose, so that's got to get tightened up a little bit. What else? Let's move on to the inside of this thing. I like these smoker window vents, but this one's busted. It does have a roof rack, so that's kind of cool. And the body and the underbody actually isn't all that rusty. It's not that bad for being a Wisconsin car. I mean, it's not the cleanest thing in the world, but it's also not the worst. It does have this pretty cool spoiler as well. The trailer hitch is a huge plus. I really like that this says CRV. This side's a little rusty, but it's really not that bad, all things considered. Interior is in pretty good shape. Besides the driver's side, doesn't have a door panel on it because it doesn't have a window regulator in it. It does have a pretty awesome Amazon radio setup and a Crown Royal shift boot and a Royal steering wheel with an NRG quick release, an AEM X Series wideband, chipped ECU with a Neptune board. I'm pretty sure. I haven't looked at the ECU yet, but they said it's Neptune. I don't know if it actually is. Yeah, so I ordered a bunch of parts for this thing off Amazon. I ordered a window regulator right away, just to hopefully get that squared away. It does have a bunch of like speaker wiring and stuff kind of jammed down here for a tweeter or something like that. And the speakers don't work. So like when you turn the radio on, it doesn't have music. And it has a push button start. Why? I don't know. Maybe because they didn't want to use the factory signal wire for some reason, or they unplugged it and couldn't find it in the harness. I don't really know. But I hate push button start stuff. I would rather just use the factory signal. So I don't know what they did with that stuff. Yeah, so we got to get some oil in this thing for sure. It's like number one thing. Oil, get the wastegate stuff coming in the mail. And yeah, I just picked up this battery charger off Amazon. Pretty cool. It's got a switch down here for something. I don't know what that does. It's got more buttons over here, which I'm assuming is for like the cruise control maybe, because they put a steering wheel in it, which is kind of what I want to do on my sedan that we just did the Vitara build on. I kind of want to put cruise control on it because I have a Momo steering wheel in that. I don't know what shift knob this is. It's fucking heavy though. I don't think the knob has a brand. And dude, did this thing come with a book of receipts. Holy crap. I don't really know what they documented when they bought coolant for it. I'm sorry, but coolant doesn't add value. Yeah, so a lot of receipts. I don't know, some people might, you know, think like, oh, I got all the receipts for this thing. It's worth more money because I got receipts for it. I'm sorry. The way that this thing's put together, I would not say that it's worth more because there's a pile of receipts. Like I said, I probably overpaid for this thing, but I'm making content with it and we're gonna try to fix it up and actually make it run decent, I guess, with this giant fucking turbo. I might buy a smaller turbo for it. Something like really spunky, because it's a 4-wheel drive CRV. Yeah, I don't know. Let's wait for the mail to get here. I'll put some oil in this thing and maybe I'll zip tie that coolant hose out of the way so we don't spray coolant on the first test drive. All right, so Jeff showed up with some overnight parts from China. We got a 38 millimeter wastegate. I just got a whole gate because they're only 50 bucks, and I got two 90 degree 2.5 inch couplers. So I'm gonna put this coupler on. I got the axle seated in, and I might fire it up quick just to kind of show you guys what it sounds like with the wastegate leaking, and then I will put the new wastegate on and fix the vacuum line and stuff like that. And then I'm gonna try to figure out something to do with this brake line too. I don't know if I'm just gonna zip tie it somewhere or what, but it's supposed to have a bracket like this side. This side has a bracket off of the spindle to go to the brake line, but this side is missing the bracket because it's supposed to mount on there something like this instead of, you know, tight like that, how they had it bolted. So I don't know if I just want to zip tie it somewhere for now. Maybe just zip tie it to the, you know, shock fork or something like that, just so it's less stressed. I don't really have structure to this video. I just wanted to show you guys what's going on with it. I'm sorry if my videos haven't been as good lately, or like as structured, but I just like filming videos and showing what I'm doing, and that's how we've pretty much always done this channel. So another thing too that I really enjoy is these carbon monoxide alarms from Jeff. They're awesome. They're super cheap, and obviously with my heater and stuff installed into the shop, I just want to be monitoring this stuff, and I picked up one for this garage, my other garage, and the house. So they look something like this, and it shows temperature, parts per million in CO, and relative humidity. So, and you just plug it into the wall. Pretty cool, honestly. I can monitor the temperature in here and see how good the heater's working. And I might be trying out a new heater. I don't know if I'm gonna bite the bullet or not and buy it. I want to try one of those Sunfire Radiant diesel heaters and see if it kind of smokes me out of here or what, just to kind of help aid in heating this big building without insulation, because my current heater in here works fine, but I guarantee when it gets down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit that it's going to be a little tricky to have that sucker keep up without just wasting a bunch of propane. So I might pick up one of them Radiant heaters. Plus hopefully the dyno is going to be getting installed this week, and that building back there that I'm going to be doing is going to be unfinished all winter, I'm assuming, and it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of air gaps. So I'm going to want some sort of heat, and one of those Sunfire portable heaters, they're on wheels and they crank heat supposedly. So I'm really thinking about getting one, but they ain't cheap. So I don't know, I'm still thinking about it. But anyways, I'm gonna check out these couplers, replace that one. I'm probably gonna end up shortening this pipe because you can see that the pipe is too long. Like I could cut this down and then shove this in farther so it doesn't rub on the tire like it has been and then blow out the coupler. So I might try to shorten this pipe up a little bit before I put that new coupler on, and then I'll show you guys after the fact. Still gotta put oil in it, forgot about that. And then the wastegate. So pick up with you guys in a minute. All right, so I got the new coupler installed down here. I don't know if I really made the piping any better, but whatever, that's what we're dealing with for now. All the rest of these couplers and stuff seem like they're doing okay. They're all connected, no holes, at least no holes that I know of. So I'm gonna start it for you guys, let you hear what it sounds like with the leaking wastegate, and then after fixing the wastegate you should be able to tell the difference. I also put oil in it. Still got to tighten up that power steering belt, but if you listen, things just, it sounds like it's open down pipe because the fire ring in the wastegate I'm assuming isn't there, or the wastegate itself is bad. I wasn't going to take any chances, so I just got a new one for 50 bucks. So yeah, I'm gonna get this old wastegate off and get the new one on. Just as I suspected, there is no fire ring inside the wastegate, so you can see light through here. You can see that kind of the valve isn't sealing. And if we look this way, same story. You can see light through it. This is an exhaust leak before the turbo, which is going to slow the spooling of the turbo and just cause issues. So, and an exhaust leak. What should be in there is this. This little ring seals the exhaust. So we're going to just put the new wastegate on. I just took the bolt out. Now it doesn't interfere. I couldn't really zip tie this thing up out of the way at all. I'd have to cut this and like shorten it for this to come away from this bracket, but just taking that one bolt out and now it clears, and hopefully this hose holds up for a little while. I also zip tied the brake line in a different spot, and I got the new wastegate on, so about to lower it down. I think I'm gonna tighten the power steering belt up a little bit so it stops squealing, and honestly this thing's probably good. We'll check out the tune, take it for a little test drive. All right, first fire up, new wastegate installed. I did reroute the vacuum line up to the intake manifold instead of to the turbo, and I capped the turbo off because there's no real good way with the amount of hose that I had laying around on this car to run it back to the turbo. So I'm just running it to the intake manifold. Shouldn't make any difference. You know, maybe a pound or two difference comparing to the intake versus the turbo. Usually the turbo will give you lower boost and you'll get higher boost if you go to the intake manifold, or vice versa depending on the setup. Got that bolt out down there so the hose isn't rubbing. What else did I just do? I tightened the power steering belt up. So let's fire it up for the first time and see how this thing sounds. It should sound pretty good. It sounded like the rest of the exhaust was sealed up pretty good, so I am hoping that it sounds good without any exhaust leaks. We fixed the boost leak, and yeah, let's try it out. You can't even hear this thing. It's so quiet. Now that's what I call dog pile chicken smile. This thing's ready for a little test drive. We got oil in it, just kind of verifying everything. Should be good. It's got a wideband in it, so we'll just get into boost a little bit and see kind of how this thing is. No squeals from the belt anymore. I tightened that up. That startup should be drastic of a difference. I don't hear any exhaust leaks. Yeah, buddy. Thank you, Jesus, for helping out tonight. Let's get this thing off the lift and we'll take it for a little rip. First test drive in the turbo CRV. Got a crack in the windshield, and I have another CRV outside. Oh, my carbon monoxide detector's finally going off. I've had it running in the shop and it just started yelling at me. Here, I'm gonna show you guys this thing. This is why you guys should probably invest in one of these. It's like 25 bucks, and I've been running the car in the shop for like, I don't know, a minute. It was going off, but damn it, I didn't catch it. There it goes. I'd be curious to do a test, you know, running this car on pump gas and then doing this same like idling in the shop with E85 and see how much more or less CO we get. Because I always complain that cars that come in on pump gas, which this car is on regular unleaded, cars that come in on pump gas, I feel like I want to charge more money to tune them because it's more of a hazard for my health. And that's not me being a bitch, it's just true. Wow, this thing's so smooth. First test drive out of the shop. Sounds like the timing belt whines a little. Ooh, and we got a brake light back there. Looks like they had some some tape or something covering the light so it doesn't blind you in here for the third brake light. Looks like it might be just missing the cover or something. And the radio, unfortunately, doesn't work. You turn the volume up and we got no sound. So I don't know what's going on with that. I wonder if we can go to Bluetooth. I don't know if it's just the radio that doesn't have sound. Nope. All of it doesn't have sound. I wonder why. Let me know down in the comments. I'm sure there's people out there. I'm pretty sure I know. Maybe if like some of the speakers aren't hooked up or like there's a speaker that's shorted out, it won't produce any sound. I don't really remember. Look at, dude, it's got tuner view. Are you freaking kidding me? Look at this. Right on the radio. This is what I want to do on my sedan. Tuner view works with Neptune, I'm pretty sure. You have to buy a protocol to use this app. Can't connect to Google services. Dang it. But they do have it on here, Tuner View. So I wouldn't doubt if this car really is on Neptune. And it is idling pretty good, air fuel. I did notice a lean spot, yeah, right off of idle. So if we just light throttle off idle, this is a spot that a lot of tuners miss, you know, because they just get on the throttle right away. But this light throttle cruising, lean like this, can really kind of affect how the car takes off. So, something I would definitely have to adjust. Wow, it actually spools. No shit. I don't even have like a quarter mile on this thing and I'm already freaking hitting boost. Wow, that freaking compressor surged really bad, which means the blow-off valve is not working. I can't believe how fast it spools for a 35R, but it is a B20, you know, the bigger displacement motor. Yeah, so it only makes like 4 or 5 pounds on this wastegate setup, which I checked the wastegate from Jeff, and it did seem like it was a very light spring installed. I don't know if it came with other springs or not, but this spring is really light, which I'm okay with for now, especially not knowing what this tune is like and stuff like that. But it looked like we were running about a 12.0 air fuel, and currently cruising at like 15.3, so the tune doesn't seem all that bad. It seems pretty close, to be honest. And yeah, I just need a working blow-off valve, because I do notice that the Gretty style blow-off valves, like the one that's on here, they do tend to not really work. I don't think I've really ever had one that worked good. Maybe one way back in the day, but most of them don't work. I don't know why, or if they're just plumbed wrong or what. But it is running good. This thing's running great. Hallelujah. Fix the wastegate, that boost leak. Man, I miss turbo Hondas. All right, we'll get back to the shop and just verify some stuff. I don't really want to beat on it too much on this first test drive. I really actually wonder what clutch is in this thing, because I mean, if we really pour the coal to it with a good drive shaft and stuff in it, I don't know. I don't know if the whatever clutch is in here, if they replace the clutch. If it's just a stock clutch, we're not going to be able to make too much power. But I can't tell if it's aftermarket or not. And I'm not gonna get on it right here because I blew up my Fox body right here doing a video. So we're just gonna cruise out of here. This area's got bad juju. Good thing we're covered by the blood of Jesus Christ. Wow, this thing sounds and runs so good. brother. Maybe we'll do one more pull just to kind of see how the air fuel is. Yeah, and if you watch the boost gauge, I'll try to get the camera set up in a spot where you can kind of see both of them. It's going to be tough because the boost gauge is very bright and it's probably hard for the camera to focus on it. Damn it, I just need a radio and a working driver window so I can hit my vape. But the heater also cranks in this thing. Good old CRV. I feel like I might swap out this Nardi wheel and put it in my other car that I just bought that you guys are gonna probably really like. It's actually a pretty rare Honda, in my opinion. You guys will have to let me know if you want me to show it off. That car came with a Bull Boost, like pink Japanese deep dish wheel, and I don't really like it in that car specifically, but I think I really like this Nardi wheel in there. And they both have an energy quick release, so I should be able to just swap wheels pretty easily. Man, this thing runs so good. I just spent like barely any time on it, just getting a couple parts from Jeff, and yeah, we're dialed. The trip is about to say 5666 right as I want to do this pull. But we'll say a prayer. Jesus, cover this CRV in your blood, help it live a long, prosperous life, and help it make good power reliably for a long time to come. In Jesus' name, amen. Yeah, she rips pretty good. It's obviously not the fastest thing in the world, but you know, 12.0, 12.5 air fuel, a little lean on pump gas, but for as low a boost as it's on. Oh, I think we just popped a vacuum line. Maybe not. Now we're back down to idle. It was hanging there for a second. Yeah, this thing runs good. Let's pull it in the shop and give it one more little once over. Dude, this thing runs so good. Idle's just chilling. Look at that. Let's pop the hood. Got good heat in this thing. Might have to put a catch can or something on it. It'll smell like a little bit of oil or something, because there's nothing really coming out of the valve cover. No blow-by smoke, just a little bit when I do a pull, I'm sure. Something, I don't know if you guys can hear that humming. I don't know if that's just the timing belt. It does look a little tight. Man, I love how quiet this motor is too. So a couple other, yeah, and this is the blow-off valve. It's one of these. Might have to swap on a Hunter tuned one or something else. And another thing too is I wanted to tell you guys, when you put a wastegate on, you always got to plug the open ports on the bottom. You only need the one going to the reference and plug the rest. If you don't plug them, you'll have boost spikes and stuff like that. I wonder where this frickin' thing's going. I wonder if this is going, oh no shit. No wonder I smell a little bit of oil. It's still got the vacuum line off of the intake manifold going to the crankcase vent down on the block. So that's blowing boost into the motor, which is causing crankcase pressure, blowing oil all over the fuel rail out of the valve cover for excess venting. If we just deleted that vacuum hose going down there, that oil would probably be completely fixed. Let's check overflow. Looks great. It's right at the same level as when we took off. We got good pressure in both the hoses. Bottom one's still a little cold. It is kind of cold out today, but yeah. I'm actually kind of stoked about this thing. I'm really surprised at how fast it spools up with that big turbo. The people that I bought it from obviously were talking about how it was really slow to build boost and it was just slow in general. Well, when you got a giant boost leak and a leaking wastegate, that'll happen. So But this turbo seems like it's doing okay. Maybe we'll play with it some more. You guys let me know what you want to see in the next video. Let me know what you want to see with this CRV. You want me to clean it up some more? I'll probably buy a drive shaft for it and stuff like that. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night and a better tomorrow. And God bless. We'll see you later.